Okay, so should we get into our weekly topic?
Oh, this is such a good one. We've been planning this probably since we started the podcast.
Yeah,
It's always been
probably
on the
so.
list. So
Probably so.
why not for episode 100? We're going to talk about Drew's long time relationship collaborations with photographer Mark Seliger
Yes, and we also learned how to say his name properly.
on the
So,
podcast.
on the podcast, Mark Seliger, we are here to celebrate you and your long-running relationship, established professional relationship with our girl.
Oh my gosh, like over 30 years. Isn't that crazy? Oh, look how
It's
cute. Okay, so there's going to be a slideshow of visuals for this. If you guys will put this on YouTube, this part of it. And then if you're on Patreon, we'll put up the slideshow so you can look at it at your leisure.
Yes, so I'm sure I'm going to try not to just be describing pictures here in the audio podcast for you guys, but it just means you really got to see the visuals. This is about the visuals that created between these two collaborators, Drew and Mark. So,
Yeah. And I do want to
no.
say, I feel pretty confident he is the photographer that she has worked with more than anyone else, even more than Ellen von Unworth, who we did a whole episode on. He's even
Mhm.
surpassed that. So these two have really got a special bond.
Yes, they do. And you pulled a bunch of quotes of them talking about each other, which is so fun. A bunch of these we'll kind of talk about while we're talking about specific photo shoots, but let's just like get them just gushing about each other here at the top a little bit.
Oh,
So this is Mark talking about Drew. He said, "My history with Drew is one of shared creativity, pushing limits, collaboration, and true exchanges. She is special to me for many reasons, not the least of which is that early in my career, she is one of the first Hollywood actresses I photographed."
oh. And he also says, and this is from a book that I have. It's a really random book. It's like in many languages. It's called One to One, and it's like photographers talking about like their favorite person to collaborate with. Anyway,
So cool.
yeah, it's really neat. So this other quote he said is Drew is always in the moment, not trying to figure out her next moment. That's cool. It is this type of freedom that allows one to take these kinds of photographs. Ah, I love that.
Love it. Love it. And then here's another little moment of gushing from markseliger.com. Drew is always in the moment. Oh, this is the same.
Oh, yeah, there
Not
was
trying, hold
some
on.
overlay.
Hold on. Let me just see if I can.
I guess just start at a dozen shoots later.
Yeah. So on markseliger.com, Mark is talking about their frequent collaboration. He says, "A dozen shoots later, and I can honestly say Drew is what makes these images speak for themselves. To call her simply a muse is an understatement. She is an artist and a creative force to be reckoned with."
Love.
Kind of gives me chills. I just
I
love when I
know.
don't know. I just love when she's I don't know. We obviously we love her, so we're like, "Yay."
I know it's so good. And then one other thing that he said recently on his Instagram, recently, like 3 years ago, is that Drew Barrymore has many gifts to offer the world, but undoubtedly she is one in a million in her presence and magical response to the camera. So cool.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so should we get into Drew gushing a little bit about Mark?
Yeah, we don't have like as much as I would wish. I feel like we always like knew she loved him, but
Mhm.
this same book has some cool quotes from her.
Yes. So in One to One, Drew said, over my years of working with Mark, I have gotten to be a boxer, to interpret Alice in Wonderland, to pose in a pool of daisies, to wrestle with a sumo, to be a butterfly, to run around with a giant pig, and this is just a start. This is what I really like, to pretend to be something I'm not. I have this image of myself as a dorky, non-sexy, plain woman. Photography allows me to be a lot of different things, which is why I want each photo shoot I'm involved in to have a sense of spicy adventure.
Spicy adventure. So good.
It's so good. And also, Drew had Mark briefly on her show. He called in and they were talking about some shoot he'd done with Jerry Seinfeld in 2022. And there were just a couple little moments where they kind of gushed at each other on this. So I'm going to play a little bit of that.
Awesome.
So let's see
And this is where we
here.
learned how to pronounce his name. It was this appearance where we went, we thought it was Seliger all this time.
Yes. Yes. All right. So
Oh,
can you see that?
I sure can.
Okay.
Look, I just want to introduce everyone to our history really quick because we've done, I think, the most meaningful and important photo shoots of my life. We worked together, the cover of Rolling Stone.
Yes, of course.
That famous picture.
Hi there.
I normally see it in black and white. It's interesting to see it. There's us doing Harper's Bazaar. We've done Rolling Stone. We've done the cover of Vanity Fair. We've done every iconic shoot I've ever been a part of. And the reason I also wanted to show the next picture is this is an iconic picture you took of Jerry.
I'm jumping there to a different part.
Okay. That was really cool. I love how the audience was like, woo, we've never seen these spicy pictures.
Yes. I also love that she's like, I usually see that in black and white regarding the
so
boxing
true.
one. That's so funny. All right, here's a little continuation.
A really good time. I mean, there is a comfort with somebody that you work with over and over and over again. Like when you and I started working together, I remember the first time I got on the phone with you and you said, you know what? I trust you. Let's do something really wonderful. Go for it. And that was such a unusual reception to an invitation to make art. And that to me is, what you live for, right? You want to be able to collaborate with somebody to bring something special to it. And I feel like Jerry and you share that commonality, which is you want it to be eventful, you want it to be special, you want it to feel like it's in the moment. And I can't thank you guys enough for helping me, make these images.
Well, I mean, you are one of the most iconic photographers to ever walk the planet, Mark. And I will say, some of my sexiest moments in life have been with you. So you do draw it out in people.
I'm nothing without a wonderful subject. So you've always been just the most gracious, kind person that I've known. So I owe it to you.
I know. I know. It's so sweet, right?
Like how she's like, hey, remember how I can get in front of the camera with you?
I know, like as she's talking, it kind of becomes like a little thing. Oops. All right. So I guess we could maybe get into their work together now. I mean, we've kind of given a little introduction here. As you mentioned, she's got to be the most frequent collaborator photographer that Drew has worked with. Listing here are at least 14 photo shoots they've done together. And I love that you mentioned, you're like, I bet there's more. Like
I have this feeling, because some of these we've only found out in recent years, like, oh, he took those pictures for Flower Beauty or whatever. So
yes.
I mean, remember how long it was before we figured out he did the Dear Drew photos? Even though like you can see him if you look closely in some of the behind the scenes pictures. Anyway, we'll get to it.
It's funny because some of these I'm like, I don't remember how we learned or like well, you'll see. We're going to get into the iconic ones from the 90s first, and then we're going to kind of get into some of the stuff that feels like Drew just wanted to work with Mark. It wasn't like for a magazine. It wasn't, who knows?
It's like, oh, we need somebody to shoot some stuff. Call up Mark.
Yes, exactly. So some of this might repeat what he said on the Drew Barrymore show, but I am going to let Mark introduce us to when he talks about the 1994 May issue of 1994 issue of, hold on. Okay. I'm going to let Mark introduce talking about the photo shoot that was for the May 1994 issue of Us magazine. And this is a clip from his website. And I love that there's audio here. Obviously, the fact that we get to use this for our pod is really cool.
So cool. And he has this whole page called The Original It Girl, all about Drew with some insane photos we've been talking about over the last few months.
Yes. So I'm just going to play this clip from the website. It's awesome. So here we go.
I've had a very incredibly long history working with Drew Barrymore. She's like the perfect ingenue. And when I met her back in the 90s, I remember talking to her on the phone. I was explaining a couple of the characters that I was very interested in introducing. And one of them was prize fighter, and the other one was kind of a naughty Alice in Wonderland. And I was waiting for her to respond, and she gave me that perfect Drew giggle and said to me, I totally trust you. Let's just do whatever you think will work best. And that's how we started out. And worked with a wonderful crew to create the costumes, found the perfect boxing gym, and built our Alice characters in oversized deck of cards. And at the very last minute, she popped a cigarette in her mouth and started to blow these perfect smoke rings. And that's really how our collaboration started, with some real gems. From there, we went on to do several other shoots. And I would say she is probably the ultimate muse of all the people that I photographed.
So that's just him talking about their first experience together. But I love that the way that they communicated, the way that they collaborated on that first shoot really set the stage for everything going forward. So
yeah, and it's kind of wild when you think about like that he wasn't very experienced at that time. Like, why did she trust him? They just had that connection right off the bat. So cool. Before we get a little more into it, I do want to mention that we do have a whole episode about this magazine feature. It's our episode 45. I will link to all the like related episodes on the episode page if you guys don't want to remember the numbers. But we talked about the photos and then also the article that went along with it back then.
Yes. So we'll talk about the photos a little bit now, but you know, this is our run through. So we'll see how much I can get myself not to talk about them. I will say that in the slideshow, I tended to put like the printed version and maybe an outtake with it. So if you're looking at the visuals, you'll see the original on the left and one of the outtakes on the right. There are so many neat outtakes from these earlier shoots.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, oh my God, when we get, anyway, we'll get to
you could have made a
like,
slideshow that was like 8,000 slides and it wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I tried. I'm going to actually just say a couple more little quotes. So from One to One, Mark described this as having conceived a series of ideas that complemented Drew's sensual and strong persona, which
perfect from that like 93 era, because these were taken in 93, even though they were printed 94. We're kind of sticklers about those dates. If you don't, that's why we were saying that.
Yep. I know that it said somewhere that this was like did it say like South Los Angeles Boxing Club? Like
yes. I think it's even in I found it at some point. It might be in the credits of the magazine.
Yeah, so I love this. It says, as I looked at the photo of Drew as a boxer in my darkroom, I thought, this is my girl. I had never taken a picture like that before. It was one of those images that, as it revealed itself in the printing process, surpassed my initial idea. And that was a defining moment for me.
So cool. I love that. This is my girl. Like,
I know.
We get it.
Because we always say like our girl, my girl. And of course, these amazing.
Oh my God. These were my favorite for a long time because I was like really into Alice in Wonderland. It got like a little too popular and I kind of faded away from it a little bit,
but I still like, I know that you love these and I always like, I mean, they're incredible. So I'll read a little quote about this. It says, although the crew and I were working with limited resources, we remained undeterred. 4 days before the shoot, the costume designer Robertino Trovati, this flamboyant character, came into my room at the Nico Hotel in LA and tried on the Alice outfits himself. It was a very ambitious shoot, and in one day, we did 5 different setups in 10 hours. For the Wonderland shoot, Drew gave her own interpretation of an irreverent, precocious, modern-day Alice.
Yeah, she did. He also talks about this in his book. I do not know how to pronounce the title of this. Do you?
Physiognomy?
I like it. Okay. And he says, during that first session, we shot Drew as a naughty Alice in Wonderland, and we shot her in a boxing room in South Central LA, wearing only boxing gloves and a fighter cup. After seeing the day's results, I felt we had captured her like nobody had before. I'd revealed that little dark edge of the cute, familiar Drew Barrymore. She truly has the ability to be a chameleon. Drew is my original muse.
Oh. I love it. And I love I'm just going to like flip back and forth through these, the like array of like characters you kind of get.
There's so many.
Like, I mean, they said there were 5 setups. We've got him here. I love that earlier we mentioned that she talked about walking around with a pig, but the one that was printed in this magazine is just her with her friends sort of snuggled up. Is it Justine on the left?
Yeah, Justine's on on the left, and Kim Greitzer is on the right.
Yes. And that I don't remember how much later was that pig one printed?
Maybe only like a year or two later in like a young Hollywood issue of Us.
It's so cute.
So cute.
Oh, and of course there's this one setup where Drew's wearing like, what do you even call this? It's like the frame of a
hoop skirt.
Hoop skirt. Thank you. And a lot of the outtakes from this, if you guys have not perused markseliger.com, you are crazy.
Get there now.
Do it now. The ones from this slideshow, all the outtakes pretty much are from markseliger.com that we've found over the past year. Like, it's nuts. And I haven't even included a lot of them. All right. I guess maybe we can move on to Rolling Stone 1995, which we've also covered on the pod.
Yeah. In our episode 3, as you mentioned earlier, wild. But it doesn't surprise me that this was the first magazine we ever talked about, because this is sort of like the cover. I don't know. In a lot of ways, I would say this is like her ultimate cover.
It is.
Okay.
I think so too.
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, I her close-up face, the daisies, the tongue sticking out, the playfulness, it's like all of it is so emblematic of her, right? The outtakes drive us crazy nuts.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe how many there are now.
Oh my God. Thank you, Mark, for putting those out there. God, I would love to know that he's listening to this. He can hear us gushing about her the whole time. Her and him, them together. Come on the pod. But yes, so the cover shoot for this is just to die for. Like, whose idea was it to put these wonderful daisies all around her, in the bathtub with her, like things that weren't even in the magazine from this cover shoot ended up being like just so iconic.
And it's just naked Drew with her tattoos and her daisies. Like,
yep.
That's all you need.
I went ahead and put in the slideshow a couple other ones that were not in Rolling Stone, but have been printed in other ways. Like, one of them is in a tattoo book, right?
Yeah,
like
from the editors of Rolling Stone. Yep.
Yeah. And then the other one where she's like in a kind of a bathtub or whatever with a bunch of daisies around her. I feel like this, when I was early on as a fan, like it was like Playboy and this would come up all the time because she's like
of course.
naked. But I've always just been so obsessed with this, the black and white covered in daisies in the water picture. It's beautiful. It's somehow so sexy and elegant. I don't know.
That's our girl.
Yep. Do I need to go on about it? Probably not.
Okay. So here's another little quote from Mark about this shoot. He said, during our next session for Rolling Stone in 1995, the weather fell apart on us. After shooting the sumo and Boy Scout pictures, we went up to the beach in the afternoon and set up a tightrope. The weather was so bad and the wind was so strong that it was nearly impossible for her to maintain her balance on this flying rig. So we switched sets and I took the photo of her on the beach kissing the circus horse. Their faces met half an inch away from each other in a decisive and spontaneous moment.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because we were talking about these tightrope pictures because outtakes just came of these. He just shared these and freaking blew our minds. And we were like, God, why didn't they ever use one of the tightrope pictures? And maybe it's because they were just struggling with the weather.
Yep, absolutely. And these are special not only because we've got the one that's in this issue, Rolling Stone, that's black and white, but also for a magazine cover that we both love, Boulevard from 1997.
I still don't have.
I'm just so glad that one of us does. It's
True.
In our collection. But they used a close-up of the image that I put in our slideshow that's from this, that's in color. And so few of them are printed. Like,
I know.
So and for us to have outtakes now, like, they're just so cool.
They're so cool.
Her on the tightrope, like, oh my God. But they, as you know, it mentions, like, they had some ambitions, like the Boy Scout, which we only have one outtake of, the sumo,
God.
which we also only have one outtake of. Like, these are like whole setups.
I know.
All we have are just a couple.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them we've got so many outtakes from, and some of them it's like so sparse. Like, anyway.
Mark, get us some more. I want another Boy Scout one. I would flip out to see one of
Oh,
those. I can't even imagine.
oh my God. Like, they had to have done more than just her being tied up. Anyway, we are crazy about Rolling Stone 1995. I will cautiously tell you go listen to episode 3 because I'm sure it sounds terrible auditorially. But us gushing about it is gonna be, there's no way we won't be absolutely gushing about it. So if you want to hear us gush about it some more, go and listen to episode 3. Okay, I guess we're ready to move on to another one that we absolutely love.
Another one of my absolute like favorites and like origins. Like these were up on my wall before anything else of Drew. Like I was just starting to like get interested in her, but thought these photos were really pretty, and that's why I put them up. So this is from Us Magazine, March 1997. We covered this in our episode 15. Wow, I thought it was later than that.
Wild,
and
right?
This one was done in Texas when she was filming Home Fries. So she's got the red hair, but it's kind of almost camouflage. Like she almost looks blonde in all the shoots that they used because her hair is like pulled up and back, which I never, it's just funny to like realize these things later.
Yep, absolutely. And these are so fun. We've got the like amazing famous close-up of Drew's butterfly tattoo.
One of my all-time favorites.
It's so stunning, so stunning. And then in the same setup, there's like kind of a playful thing going on at a bar, of which they did release. I don't know where these outtakes were. Do you recall?
Yeah, I think I found these on like a photo agency.
Oh my God.
I know.
So, and they just feel so different also from like the others. I didn't even include like a lot of the outtakes in here because the originals are just so amazing. One of the most amazing things they did for this was dress Drew up as a butterfly, which we did mention earlier. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, we only know of one printed outtake.
Yeah, and it was only printed on like a weird promotional poster for Us Magazine.
Yep.
And it's amazing.
Like, I like how the picture, I know we have a picture of it hanging on the wall of the individual who we know has it.
Yeah.
But I've got this low res image in our slideshow to look at and marvel at. It's still gorgeous.
Yeah, Butterfly Drew on the train tracks in Texas. It's just so cool. I think this is one of like, I feel confident to say one of her most iconic photos. People love this one.
Yes. While I'm on this thing, I'll just go ahead and read it. Mark said in 1-to-1 about this. Drew always had a passion for butterflies. And in 1997, when we were in Elgin, Texas, she wondered aloud what it would be like to become one. So I photographed her on the train tracks in this fantastical wild butterfly costume made by the stylists Kurt and Bart. It's stunning.
So fun.
Like, outtakes from this, please.
Oh my God, please.
Please. So
I feel
cool.
like it could happen. Like all of these are showing up. He's like really digging into his archives lately.
I know. These pictures have some like what is going on here moments. Like there's one of a guy in a cowboy hat and an older man wearing like a flannel pushing Drew in a wagon. Why? I don't know, but it's
She's
pretty damn cute. Yep. Overalls looks like no t-shirt underneath. So Drew being, oh my God, the outtake from that section is so stunning. I always loved this picture of
this one was on my wall.
Surrounded in candles that was printed in this magazine. And again, an outtake that just kills us. I think we're just so familiar with these that like a slight variation is just like,
yeah. Like, gasp, oh my God.
Exactly. And then there are some outtakes from this shoot that blew our mind probably about like 10 years ago. And ones that made her red hair really, really look red.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
And we kind of talked about this in the episode where we covered the shoot, but these almost feel like the predecessors to the next shoot we're going to talk about. Like they were kind of trying this vibe out. They didn't make it in the magazine. And it's like, okay, let's revisit that and really go hard for it for this next one.
That is such a good point, and I love that they're right next to each other. So let's get into Rolling Stone from November 2000.
Are you like me? Everyone that comes up, you're like, oh, but this might be my favorite.
You know what? There are so many ones that have like each of these, especially these first ones, like have something that sort of like rips my heart open. Like it's like so beautiful. And we'll get into what my
Okay, you play with the candle down here. You have to be quiet, remember? There you go.
So we covered Rolling Stone 2000 in our episode 34, so quite a bit later than the others, but this is obviously one that we love. And there are not many outtakes from this, but they printed a ton of them.
Yeah, this is one of those special ones where there's just, I don't know, 10 plus pictures in the magazine.
Mm-hmm. There are a ton. Mark had said in the book 1-to-1 that the images were inspired by photographers such as Ernest J. Belloc and wanted to shoot this in the style of a Belle Epoque erotica. And I looked it up, and the outfits that these like women are wearing in these like old black and white sort of boudoir images, they look so much like this.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
I didn't put any in here, but it's definitely worth looking up if you want to see what the inspiration was. It's so neat. Some of my favorites in the magazine, I'm sure it is the same for you, are the ones of her in the kitchen where we've got a series of 4. Mark talked about this moment, and I think Drew maybe did in response as well. So in this moment where they're in the kitchen, Mark said that Drew said, at the end of the first day of the shoot, we were in the kitchen together and Drew was holding a bottle of milk. She asked, "Did you get what you wanted?" And I said, "Yes." She turned her back to the camera, dropped the front of her camisole, and poured the bottle of milk over her back, laughing. It was awesome. The perfect finale.
That's so fun to know. It was just her spur of the moment. Like, are we good? Can I like change what I'm, kind of mess up this outfit?
Yep.
And Drew said about that, Mark not only took the shot, but also turned this moment into a great series of pictures, which, yes, like I love that you can watch the evolution of it happening in these.
Yes.
She says, I like to add my own initiative to the creative process, thinking that photographers might find an image they like. What I don't like is to pretend to be this pretty face confined to sitting on a stool. With Mark, I get to be whatever I want, silly, goofy, or sexy, or all of the above.
And in this series, I feel like all of them are there somehow. Like, it's just great. And all of these are just so stunning. Drew, I'm sure we gushed about them in episode 34. So again, if you want to hear us gush about them, they're sexy in this old-timey, amazing, wonderful way. And all of the stuff she's wearing looks like, not all of it, but a lot of it looks like vintage lingerie.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and
I'm kind of
beautifully
thinking like this is probably one of the last like overtly sexy shoots she ever did. Right?
Wow, you think so? I mean, I feel like there had to have been some pretty sexy ones when they released the second Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, there's a couple, you're right, but like this is an era that's gone.
Right. I'm just gonna flip back, because not in the same way as having her be like totally nude on a chaise.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They're so rad. Drew points out a specific image as her favorite, which I love that this is her favorite.
Me
it's
too.
Also, I mean, is it yours too from the shoot?
I mean, I can't pick one, but it's one of them for sure. Okay. I love this picture.
So I'll let Drew describe it. She said, one of my favorite pictures all time is from the same session. It shows me standing in front of a wooden shed wearing lacy shorts, with a mask in front of my eyes. I love its mystery, sense of danger, and sexuality. It's an incredibly subtle image. It has a strong sensuality, but not overtly so.
Yep.
Yep, and yep. I love it. And I love that Drew like felt, I don't know.
That it's one of her favorites?
Yeah, and also, I don't know. Because it feels dark in a way that she's not. You know, it feels like serious in a way that she's not. I don't know.
What does she say? It's dangerous? Is that what she says? A sense of danger.
Yeah.
So cool.
I love its mystery, sense of danger, and sexuality. So awesome. All right. I guess we can move on 3 years later.
Such a pivot to this one.
I know.
True. So this is Vanity Fair from June 2003. Excuse me. And Mark said about this one in 2003, when we were asked to work on a Vanity Fair session together, it seemed somewhat serendipitous that it would be both my first and her first cover for the magazine. That's cool. We decided to recreate the feel of Hollywood's golden age. The first shot was in the Hollywood Hills, and the next series, including the image of Drew in the car with her dog, that's Vivian, by the way, was to be taken in Malibu. Only the sun was setting very fast, and to be sure we made it to the beach fast enough to get the last shot, we prearranged for a police motorcade. We got there in 12 minutes, and that was how our first cover came to be.
Oh my God. That is great.
Love some behind the scenes shots of that happening.
Oh my God, the police motorcade.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And I'm just flipping through them. This is another situation where there are not a ton of outtakes available that we've seen, but some. And I've put some into this slideshow as well. These images of her in the white dress, Ashley, I feel like they were printed elsewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah,
where.
I think at least the one on the left was like for like Australian Marie Claire or something like that. Yeah, these ones aren't right. They've always been on photo agencies, like high res. They're not hard to come by. So maybe they feel a little less exciting because we've seen them a lot.
Yeah. I know we mentioned this before, but this is a photo shoot that Ashley recreated back when we were on the Grapevine, as just sort of like a fun thing we used to do.
Yeah, everybody was tasked with like recreate one of Drew's photo shoots, and this is the one I picked, and you picked Bazaar from 1996. Very emblematic of our styles and looks,
our vibes. Absolutely. So let me see. I think there's another quote in here, right?
Yes, there's one from Drew.
Okay, so Drew said, again, in the book 1-to-1, there's lots of stuff in there. It's so great. Drew said, when we were asked to work for Vanity Fair together, Mark and I had the same reaction. We'd better step up the plate, we thought. It was the first Vanity Fair cover for each of us, a magazine we each respect so much. We decided it was time for both of us to show a more mature side, yet again, try something we hadn't done before. This is always how it works with us. Mark comes up with a new idea and I start running at full speed. He never stops me and I never stop trying.
That's so cool. And the mature thing definitely reads here. And I feel like pretty much going forward, we're going to see their collaborations looking a little more mature. We don't even have quotes for any of the future ones from here on out. So we'll just kind of have to like go through them. And I don't want to say they like start getting less special. Like there's definitely some special ones coming up here that we'll talk about, but this is sort of like Drew's becoming more mature. She had this like weird 2009 wild year, but they didn't work together that year. So there's nothing to show from it between the two of them.
Yep. That's true. I just have to say before we leave this section that I love the pictures of her with, is it Vivian?
Yeah, me too.
So sweet. Like the one that's printed is amazing. And we also just happen to have one outtake that's also just absolutely stunning. Oh, and Vivian's in the car too with her. Really, really sweet. So Vanity Fair, that was so cool for Drew to be on Vanity Fair. I mean, obviously we were live fans at this point, so it was like super exciting to have her on.
We bought this together at Walmart in Fontana. I fully remember it.
Oh my God. Good memory. Good memory. And as Ashley said, we don't have quotes for these other ones, so we're just going to kind of be going through, which is kind of crazy, the last like 20 years of their collaborations together. So weird. Okay, so UKL, it's always so interesting when shoots are done specifically for a foreign version of a magazine.
I agree. It's like, wow, how'd you guys get away with that? And this one, I don't know if you're like me, I always forget this is him.
I wouldn't have remembered that immediately.
Yeah.
Seeing them, when I analyze them, I can see like there's that energy, but they also feel really high fashion-y.
Yeah, they're definitely like,
some of them.
This is like very of the time for her. Like, I feel like this is sort of what she was going for a lot in this era. I hate to use the word boring again, but they're just like something isn't quite sparkling the way it normally does between the two of them.
Yeah.
As you show a disco ball sparkling.
I do like that there are many costume changes. I noticed that almost every dress she's wearing is like either silvery or goldy or like some kind of metallic, except for like the one with the disco ball looks like it might be darker. But lots of metallic outfits. Yeah, I'm very curious. I do love the image of Drew where you can see like a film camera
reel.
sort of,
yeah,
like shadow over her face. And I think this is one again, like I don't recall seeing many outtakes from it.
I don't know if there's any. Wild.
Yeah. But I see what you mean, how it doesn't like immediately read as like Drew with Mark.
Yeah.
They are stunning. They are, yeah, they're gorgeous. Again, I'm gonna try not to describe them.
Yeah, move on.
Okay, so this is a weird one. So we're getting into a couple of weird ones. The going the distance promotional images from 2010.
Yeah, and these were like in weird foreign magazines. That's like the only places they were printed. It's Drew and Justin. I have a sneaking suspicion, I just don't want to say it without like proof, that Mark might have done like the poster images for the movie because Drew's hair is very similar to the way it looks on the posters. But I just can't confirm it. I tried. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was like maybe even part of the same go round.
That wouldn't be surprising.
But I love these pictures.
They're really cute. I pulled one particular outtake where Drew's sticking her finger up Justin Long's nose because it's really cute. So there's a good mix. There's like some of Drew alone, some of them together, a few different outfits. As far as Drew's look, like she looks beautiful, but there's nothing super like exciting about the looks. They're just sort of like business casual.
Yeah, I guess so.
I do like the striped shirt one that feels a little bit more like her. But yeah, what else can we say about these?
Just that they're kind of mysterious, and I don't understand why they were only in like weird foreign magazines. So strange. We'll never understand how all those things work.
That's true. We will not. Okay, so now also in 2010.
Yeah. Okay. So I love this one. Harper's Bazaar from October 2010. But I hate the cover because I feel like they messed up her face. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The original cover. So there's I'm guessing the other one is the subscription cover.
Yeah.
Bazaar always does those, or they did at that time. The primary cover, it almost doesn't look like Drew.
I know. And it's such a bummer because the rest of the images are so fantastic. Like there's some really cool ones. So this is very like Sharon Tate 60s inspired. Like this one in the orange. Amazing. That should have been the cover. She looks so cool in these.
She does look really cool. I love
big hair.
Like Sharon Tate. These are very fancy. Like she's definitely getting very fancy high fashion in these. Do you immediately read these as Mark?
I maybe wouldn't, but it's just like emblazoned in my brain that it is him. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I love, she's just like this glamorous 60s lady lounging around her Palm Springs house or something like that. This one where she's standing in the doorway, we know that Chris Miller had this framed in his Palm Springs house. So I kind of love that. And we get a little tattoo peek in that one too.
That's true. Gosh, I love that you said like 60s and Sharon Tate. Like the hair especially has like this.
They're great.
Yeah, they are really cool, and they printed a ton. Like,
yeah, which we always appreciate. But no outtakes from this, I don't think have ever surfaced. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that. Wow.
That's so strange. And again, like this is that thing where we're coming to like more recent, quote unquote, like 2010 feeling like that's yesterday, where I'm like, oh, but these just came out.
Yeah, 15 years ago, that's nothing.
But yes, stunning. Awesome to see her on Harper's Bazaar again. All right, so now, Drew.
I love these. So as we said at the top, we didn't even know that Mark had taken these for a really long time, but this is for Drew's short-lived but really cute fashion line that she had called Dear Drew. in 2017. I think it shut down in 2018. It was sold through Amazon, and there was a pop-up shop in New York that, oh God, I wish we'd gotten to go to. But I love that she's like, of course, I'm going to have Mark take these. And a lot of them were taken at her house in Los Angeles that we love so much and have an entire episode dedicated to. I think it's episode 69.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they're like, there's like a street in Los Feliz where they took pictures, and then the rest are at Drew's home. So they're really personal and intimate.
Yeah. I picked a few for us to look at in the slideshow, but there are so many sweet ones. So many cool ones. And these, like, even though we didn't know they were a Mark, when I see them, like, I can feel the comfort and yeah, there's something about them. I know we shared a couple of these when we did the house episode because you could really see like parts of her yard and stuff in certain ones. Her dogs, Lucy and Douglas, appear in a couple of these. There's a really neat image of Drew looking at a photograph of Dolores Costello. That's really beautiful.
Not to talk over you, but there's also the framed photo of her maternal grandfather in the background of that picture.
It's funny. I actually was going to ask you if you knew who that was.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something so, I think the fact that they were for a brand that was Drew's, like only Drew's, obviously there have been many of those, but there was something very her about these.
Yeah. Very personal.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, what else do we say? We loved this line. We loved Dear Drew. We wish it was still here.
I miss it.
We wish we wish we had access to that beautiful house that she no longer lives in.
And I want to talk about that.
As if we ever had access to it. In these images we did, in a way. Yeah. This was our like one of our entrees into it. Dear Drew, we miss you. We love these images. So I'm so glad that Mark captured them.
I know. They're really good.
They're really cool.
Okay, so next is from the same year, and also a very like, we found out probably way after the fact that he took these. These are the actual like poster promotional photos for the first season of Santa Clarita Diet. So I think this one in the director's chair of Drew in the red dress was like the first image that ever came out related to the show. Like I remember this being like a big deal. And he did all the key artwork for it, which is really fun. I think that was totally just Drew going, I want Mark.
Yep, I think so too. And this is something where we got access to a whole bunch of outtakes of this. There were so many.
500 maybe?
I picked a few cute ones. Just because, but this was, I mean, they had to have been having fun because in a bunch of the images, Drew's like holding a fake finger and pretending to bite it, or, you know, like doing like, I don't know. It's really silly. There were also like video versions of some of these, like in her in the red dress, and I wondered if Mark worked on those too.
Oh, I'm sure. That's so cool. I forgot about that.
Yes. But these are sweet and fun, and of course they were like purely for the show. So in them, she's kind of like playing Sheila a little bit.
I am it's like totally off topic ish, but I really want to cover like this show season by season, or I don't know how we'll break it up. But if you guys want us to cover Santa Clarita Diet, please let us know, because it's like in the back of my mind as something that we should be doing soon.
I'm trying to think of like how we would do it.
I know. Groups of episodes. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Challenge.
All right. So Santa Clarita Diet, we love and miss you.
I know. Another RIP.
Yes. And now we have this kind of strange one. Speaking of Photoshop. So Flower Beauty Warrior Princess Mascara. For some reason, again, Mark came in and worked with her, collaborated on this thing for her brand. Only 2 images have been released as far as we know from this particular shoot.
That's so weird.
Right? I mean, and the primary image that I've seen used, and I think was on Mark's site, Drew's, it's black and white. She's kind of wearing like how do I even describe this? I don't even need to describe it. Like a white thing. It almost has like a white outfit.
Like a prom dress.
Like prom dress, but with like punk details, like black shoes, like a...
Wow. You have to be quiet, remember? Well, she's a warrior princess.
Oh, of course. But somehow I feel... But I do feel like there's something about Drew's face that looks very Photoshopped. Like it doesn't look like her chin.
The first time I saw that picture, I thought they like photoshopped her face onto a different person. Like it just, yeah, there's something weird about it.
But I want to see more.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
This has like a fun, exploratory, exciting sort of like she's got a fun outfit on. Like we've only seen one.
I know.
And they're by Mark. So again, like, did we find out he took this because he put it on his site?
That's probably it. Yeah, I think so. Yep. So very recently discovered.
Yep. So that was 2018. And now we've got more related to Santa Clarita Diet, but more as like a promotion for Netflix. These images from 2018.
Yeah. And these, like, were these printed anywhere? I don't know. Maybe in like a couple foreign countries. I've never seen a print version of these. They're very strange. The only reason we've seen them is because of our wonderful friend Renata at Drew Barrymore Brazil. She got a hold of these somehow because she's magical like that. But yeah, great photos of Drew and Timothy Oliphant. This is definitely in Drew's sort of sad phase. I feel like I can read that a little bit in these. Do you see that as well?
Well, it seems sort of like a ho-hum
yeah.
smile on her face a bit. They're cute. I sound like I'm like being like, I guess they're cute. I think honestly, I'm feeling like one of the reasons why when we get to these ones that like either we didn't get printed or maybe got like very few of them printed, there's less of a nostalgia.
Yeah, there's no like tangible connection that we have.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We still love them and want Mark to work with her forever, but you know, there's something about these where I'm just like, I never held it in my hand. So next, I don't know.
Valid.
It's strange, you know? Okay. Getting into something that feels very fun is a collaboration with Drew and her brands, but feels somehow more like Mark and Drew.
Yeah.
I don't know. In a weird way. Flower Eyewear, a shoot from 2019. And how did we find out Mark did this?
I think again, like it was either credited in the one random place or he shared something. I don't know. Very lucky find as well. But these I love. Okay. So now I'm like, oh, we're like back. Like maybe because she started feeling better in her life. Like this feels more like fun and them and they're having a great time together.
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help but pull a few because they are so darling.
So cute. And they're all like very colorful and yeah, and luckily we have quite a few from this.
We do. And I just picked a handful of them.
I love that one with her arm tattoo up. Beautiful.
I know it's so neat. So I love these so much. I love that Drew like can pull in this person that she has such a like established relationship for her brand stuff. Like again, not surprised. Like it had to be a hand-picked thing. Oh, hold on. Let me just go through the eyewear again. They're just too cute. Too sweet. Love them. And last but not least.
Oh, not least at all. This like has their DNA all over it.
Yes, it does. Like this, I think New York Magazine from June 2023 just made us.
There is a nostalgia to this. Like it evokes the feeling of their 90s shoots in a way that maybe some of these other sort of murmur in between ones do not. Like this one is like, yep, we're back, baby.
Yes. I'm sure we gushed about this when it came out.
Oh yeah.
There are a bunch of images of Drew like washing her hair, including the cover of the magazine is her in her like shower. It's like her personal shower in New York City. The series of images they printed in the magazine of her like expressions, it's just like they really hearkened to like, you know, those images where Drew poured the milk on herself.
You're like, so right. I don't think I ever connected that, but it really does. Like there's a similarity there. That's so fun.
Yep. And then the other one that was printed in the magazine of her like brushing her teeth. Why is that so sweet?
I don't know. We both love that one for reasons unknown.
It's just so like she's
very natural.
I was going to say fresh face. Like she does have makeup on, but there's something very her about it. Yeah. I don't know. Goodness. My favorites.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and then your favorites.
From this New York magazine, Drew in her, does she call it her meditation closet?
Yep.
So they printed 2 of them in the magazine. I still have them as the backdrop on my computer because I love them so much.
Oh.
And we got a couple of outtakes of this. I think maybe a couple of them were on Mark Seliger's website. And one of the coolest things about this, you guys, is that inside of this closet, Drew's walls are covered with things in her handwriting.
I know, this
so
is what
cool.
This is the amount of time I've spent like zoomed in, just like, oh, like I live for this shit.
But I'm so glad that in the last, oh my God, it's been almost 2 years since this came out. They're overdue again. But I'm so glad that we got this this recapturing of that somehow 90s energy that they had, I mean, I know she's not like in 5 different outfits, 5 different setups as 5 different characters, but it being her and like feeling the comfort of her in the space with him, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something that they share that's just really unique and special. And they have a connection like she has with no one else as far as behind the camera, I think.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so I think it was really cute that they decided to just like go around the city of New York for some of the other images. Really cute, but the ones of her in her apartment in the shower.
Yeah, you're never going to top like personal space. We always want to invade her personal space. That's our favorite thing to do, right? No,
I mean,
I'm kidding.
Sorry. When we get a peek into her personal space that's been printed in a public magazine for others to see, we are like, we love it. Thank you. All right. So how do we even wrap up an episode all about Mark's relationship with Drew?
I think we wrap it up by saying we can't wait for the next one. Let's go, guys.
That's a very, very good point.
Hopefully we're manifesting one as we speak and like something's going to come out and just blow our socks off again.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like sliding through these one more time. I'm going back in time a little bit.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see all of these, that you might not know them top of your head, like weirdos like us do, please check out the video on YouTube where we'll be sharing the slideshow. And again, if you're on our Patreon,
patreon.com/howdoyoudrew.
We will have this up there so you can go slide by slide at your own pace and just soak in all this goodness.
Absolutely. So worthwhile spending some time with. And of course, we'll have the episode page with a good smattering of images.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot of work. I just realized I'm gonna have to like really hunker down tomorrow and get this together. How am I gonna choose? Okay, I'll get it done.
Our jobs. All right.
Thanks, you guys, for being here for 100 official episodes of How Do You Drew? What is happening? And there's a cat butt in your face. It's very appropriate.
Yeah. He can't believe it either. He's like, I think you're done, Mom.
100 is enough.
Why are you messing with me, bub? Yes. I don't know if you already said your outro part. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks again. I just want to say like all that amazing feedback and support we got after our appearance on the Drew Barrymore show, every single one of you who said anything to us about it, we really like took it in with so much happiness and love. So thank you. If you want to continue the love train, go on over to Apple Podcasts and write a review. You can do that for us. And then you can also leave stars on Apple or Spotify, get our numbers up to like counteract that one jerk that I can't get over left us 1 star. And then you can follow us on Instagram. We're at How Do You Drew Pod. I'm going to be doing a little collab, a local collab next week with a podcast like who happens to be based in Vegas. So I'm going to be representing our half of the pod, and they have a local girl doing their half of the pod. I'll tell you guys more about that soon, but follow on Instagram because then you'll be able to find out about it first. And then also we have our Instagram at Drewseum. And I was like thinking about photos from this one that I might feature over there. Special.
Yes. Also visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com, where we have an episode page for every episode, including this one. It's hosted on thedrewseum.com, the OG Drew Barrymore collection site that
the longest running Drew fan site. I just want to say that. That's pretty freaking cool.
NBD, guys.
Only 19 years.
No big deal. Make sure you sign up for our Patreon, which we already mentioned, but we're mentioning it again.
Patreon.com/howdoyoudrew.
And don't forget to send listener mail to us at all of the places, Instagram, Patreon, all those places, but also howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com. Like Ashley said, we love hearing from you and comments and messages and all that stuff. And we love the love.
I love love.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to us gush about Mark Seliger for episode 100.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for more.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.